Hello fellow Stoics and seekers of self-mastery. Today, we're exploring a crucial skill for living authentically, the art of saying no. You're likely familiar with the feeling. You're staring at an email invitation to an event you'd rather skip, your finger hovering over the accept button, a knot forming in your stomach. This feeling arises when you're about to say yes to something misaligned with your values or desires. In a world constantly pulling us in different directions, learning to say no isn't just a skill, it's an art essential for living authentically. But why is it so difficult, and how can we improve? We'll delve into the Stoic approach to saying no to things that don't align with our values. Even if you're unfamiliar with Stoicism, by the end of this video, you'll have a practical toolkit for making decisions that genuinely reflect who you are and what you stand for. Let's begin by asking, what are your values? Consider them your personal North Star, the principles guiding your decisions and shaping your character. They're not abstract concepts, but the foundation of who you are: honesty, creativity, family, etc. These values are uniquely yours, but in our hyper-connected world, it's easy to lose sight of them. We're bombarded with expectations, social pressures, and opportunities, making it feel easier to say yes than no. This is where Stoicism comes in. Stoicism isn't about being emotionless or enduring hardship silently, it's a practical philosophy for living well. It emphasizes focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we can't. Ancient Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus understood that true freedom comes from aligning actions with values. By saying no to things that don't serve our purpose, we say yes to integrity and inner peace. How often have you agreed to something and immediately regretted it? Each yes to something misaligned chips away at your sense of self. But every no is an opportunity to reaffirm who you are and what you stand for. It's a chance to practice what the Stoics called the dichotomy of control, focusing on what we can influence and accepting what we can't. Consider Sarah, a graphic designer offered a high-paying job creating marketing materials for an unethical company. The money would alleviate financial worries, and others urge her to take it. A Stoic approach encourages Sarah to look inward. What matters more, short-term gain or long-term peace of mind? By saying no, she's saying yes to her principles. She controls her choices and actions. Saying no isn't easy. Standing firm requires courage, especially when facing pressure. But courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action despite fear. Stoics understood that living by your values means swimming against the current. This struggle gives life meaning. Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." How do we cultivate this strength? Start with clarity. Identify your non-negotiables, principles you'd stand by even at a cost. Then practice. Start small, politely declining an unwanted invitation. Each no creates space for what truly matters. This aligns with essentialism, distinguishing between what's important and what's noise. Every yes is a trade-off. Are you making it consciously? Are you saying yes to what aligns with your values? Compromise is important. Stoics weren't rigid. The key is distinguishing between necessary compromises and unnecessary concessions. Alex, a parent juggling work and family, is asked to work late, missing his child's soccer games. A Stoic approach isn't a black and white choice, but finding a solution honoring both values. He might negotiate a flexible schedule or find ways to involve family. This is preferred indifference, preferring certain outcomes, but not being overly attached. He might take the project but find ways to stay connected, or decline it and propose an alternative. The key is integrity, regardless of the outcome. Saying no isn't about avoiding difficulty. Sometimes it's the harder choice. It might mean turning down a promotion or ending a relationship. These difficult no's are often the most important. Think about a time you said no to something tempting but misaligned with your values. It was probably uncomfortable initially, but afterward, there was relief. the feeling of alignment with your true self. Fear of missing out, disappointing others, consequences, often drives us to say yes when we should say no. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Our fears are often exaggerated. Before saying no, ask, what's the worst that could happen? How likely is it? The consequences of saying yes are often worse than those of saying no. Guilt trips are common. The Stoic response is to recognize that you're responsible for your actions, not others' emotions. Sarah, the graphic designer, might face guilt from family. She acknowledges their concerns, explains her reasoning, and lets go of the outcome. She can't control their approval, but she can control her actions. Communication is key. Be clear and direct, express appreciation, explain briefly, if appropriate, offer an alternative, if it aligns with your values, stand firm if pressured. Will saying no limit opportunities? Negative visualization helps. Imagine a life of constantly drained energy from commitments you didn't want. Saying no creates space for what truly matters. It's like tending a garden, pruning what doesn't belong. Every no to something misaligned is a yes to your authentic self. Abid, a software engineer, is offered a promotion but chooses to volunteer, aligning his life with his values. He controls his actions and responses, explaining his decision calmly. Saying no doesn't mean being inflexible, it's about being flexible in methods, but firm in principles. Aisha, an environmental scientist, engages in dialogue before refusing a project with an unethical company. This openness might lead to positive outcomes. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." The fear of damaging relationships is valid, but is a relationship healthy if it requires constant compromise of your values? By consistently saying yes when you want to say no, you prevent others from truly knowing you. Maya, an introvert, learns to communicate her need for alone time. Honesty might cause friction initially, but it builds a deeper friendship. True friends respect your values and boundaries. Self-compassion is crucial. It's a journey, not a destination. If you compromise your values, don't beat yourself up, learn from it. Chris, a new employee, learns about his limits and the importance of work-life balance. The goal isn't perfection, but growth and refinement. Aurelia said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Practical strategies. 1. Regular self-reflection. Reflect on choices. Did your actions align with your values? 2. Practice negative visualization. Imagine always saying yes. This strengthens your resolve. 3. Start small. Begin with low-stakes situations. Build confidence. 4. Prepare responses. Have polite but firm phrases ready. 5. Seek support. Surround yourself with people who respect your values. 6. Practice empathy. Saying no also respects others' values. Elena, a marketing manager, uses Stoic principles to refuse a project she finds unethical. She reflects, prepares her response, and seeks support. Saying no isn't just about a project, it's about integrity. Saying no is about curation, not limitation. It's about creating a life reflecting your values and aspirations. It's not about avoiding discomfort, but about choosing discomfort aligned with your values. It's about saying yes to your authentic self. Over the next week, practice mindful no's. Identify one thing daily that doesn't align with your values. Practice saying no. Pay attention to how it feels. This isn't about becoming a no person, but about intentional choices aligned with your true self. Aurelia said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself." By saying no to what doesn't serve us, we make room for what truly matters. The ability to say no is a superpower. It allows you to sculpt your life according to your design. There will be challenges. Remember Epictetus. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Focus on what you gain, not what you miss. Practice mindful no's this week. Commit to saying yes intentionally and authentically. Your future self will thank you. Ready to master the art of saying no and live a more fulfilling life? Subscribe to our channel for more Stoic wisdom and practical strategies. Let's continue this journey together. Thank you for joining us.